But we came out, we survived. Yeah.
And then now you joined the University of Nairobi.
The University of Nairobi.
And are you in halls of residence?
Yes. But again, I said my mother, being the person she is, the Nairobi University had beautiful residence. My friends managed to get an apartment, but my mom knew there was a particular residence for women called Stella Winja.
Yes.
Yeah, Stella Winja
was named after, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't called Stella Winja. Then it was called Nancy something. I can't remember. It changed the name to. And she got me a room there with my friend, this best friend of mine, Nicole, from high school, so that we could share. Now that was perfect.
Tell us what you're studying. Tell us about this period of being in Nairobi.
So Nairobi University was probably interesting in many ways. So I was lucky. I was in a beautiful residence, Stella Winja. You had 2-room in the middle, partition, with a little kitchenette and your own bathroom and shower. So there are things in my life I realize I don't like to share in the public. Shower, toilet, shower. Gosh, I just wish everybody could be blessed with that gift of having. In fact, one of the biggest things I keep saying now, even with a foundation and when we do stuff, I'm like, please, let's build toilets. Let's build toilets. Because the dignity it gives you, having a decent toilet and a decent shower is incredible. So it was beautiful. Now, Stella Winja also had its own dining room downstairs. And that dining room, I tell people at the university, we had 3-course meals, right? We would have a starter, we'd have a main, and we'd always have dessert.
Wow.
Dessert! Of Nairobi. Jelly,
custard,
cake and custard, and everything else. The meals, we love the Scotch eggs.
Wow.
I mean, it was incredible. It was not the university that it is today. But I think, for me, the tough things came into the university. The first 2 years were good.
Were you getting?
5,500. 5,000. I mean, do you know how much money that was?
Let me understand this. So 5, even you were, your parents weren't paying for your fees?
No. University of Nairobi didn't pay. You were paid. You were paid. I'm sorry. 5,500 and something. I just know it was 5,000 plus change. It was just short of 6,000 shillings. A lot of money.
Wow.
You could really live it up. And if you don't drink, I didn't drink and whatever. The guys, of course, would go blow it, beer and whatever. It was a lot of money, man. We were okay.
Wow.
It would allow you to go to Vision. When it started to run out,
Vision
next door, there was this place where they had chips. You could go buy chips and sausage and, it was okay.
And the meals are part of the package?
Yes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah. Wow.
Cake and custard. People look at me, they say, but we don't even get that. I said, oh, yes, that's what we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about school itself? And did a couple of people from Rusinga,
Musungari? Yes. My group of friends, that's why we all agreed. Because there was a group of us who all actually came to the University of Nairobi, including Laura, who came back from Canada and joined the university. So we hung out together a lot of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a pack.
And what are you studying?
So I went to do a Bachelor of Commerce degree.
So now this time, the lawyer thing, because you had done that.
I wanted it. It was an image. It was whatever. But I thought business for me, Bachelor of Commerce had a fascination. And again, I tell people where the fascination came in, right? I figured independence, business, money, independence. That cycle comes across. And the second thing I think that also stuck in my head, which I probably didn't speak to when I was young, and I always say it, and I hope this is the last time I say it because I say everybody, and I'm like, oh my God, people are going to say, oh, she's going to say that again, is that even when I was young, I told you I was a reader. Part of what I would read is a newspaper. A newspaper are your father's things, I don't know what it is with fathers and newspapers. Do you guys understand this thing with newspapers? Anyway, so I'd get the newspaper and flick through it and read it. And in those days, when you look at businesses announcing their results and all those things, so they put all the photographs, another image stuck in my black and white page of a newspaper. All the directors' photos would be in the newspaper when they're announcing the results. Not like now where you sign chairman or secretary, whatever. And I'd ask myself, why is it just men?
In fact, I was going to ask you that.
Why? And old men. You know, when you're 10, 11, everybody's old.
It's true.
So I mean, these old men, old, all of them. And I asked myself, how is it in business and boards? And I think that's why I purposed. Every time now, when I started this journey of joining boards, I mean, whatever, I kept saying, you know, it was from that seed of saying, you tell yourself, I want to change that face that I recall as a 10 or 11-year-old, where it's just all these men, old men. You know, the face of corporate Kenya has to also have diversity, right? And diversity is not also just all women, it's all young across different colors, ethnicities, and things like that. Yeah.
First of all,
so that is part of the reason I figured business would make sense.
But you were reading the newspaper at that age.
Yeah, I read everything. I used to read everything. I would read anything that was readable.
Reader's Digest.
I loved Reader's Digest. Oh my gosh. I used to try and subscribe. There was a neighbor who used to have them. So I used to go borrow them so that I could read them.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you remember Reader's Digest?
That's the one thing I've ever read.
Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest. Yeah.
Okay, so commerce, business, independence, money. I've understood that whole thing. And also this is the side where diversity. So, but I want to understand, how is class? Are you enjoying the,
I love the university, but I'll tell you, I think I did have a few very traumatic times at the university. And that is because, as you know, that's the time I did Miss Kenya. All right? That's the other story.
No, I don't know. But what? You did what?
Okay, now I can talk about it. You know, for years I deny I ever did that. I was Miss Kenya. So
no, you were Miss Kenya.
Okay.
Okay, no, you're super. But you won.
Yes.
Okay,
but let's dial back.
CTA is the research. So I intentionally don't
ask for stuff.
Research.
Yeah. And I'm glad you don't know, because I would have loved you to bits, because I love people who don't bring it up. I really do. But here's the thing. I never used to talk about it. So so in my first year, meet a wonderful woman called the late Mildred Owiti. I don't know if you know her, whatever. And a guy called Barack. Was his name Barack, whatever. So they see me and they sit down there like, you know, would like to make a proposition to you. And I'm trying to remember where Mildred or whatever met. Even now, when I reflect on that time, I must have been walking the street somewhere or something. I can't remember where it was. And they said, listen, there's something we want you to do. And I said, I'm like, what? They said, you know, Miss Kenya's been going on for a long time. And unfortunately, when you look at it, the profile is not, as you can imagine those days, it's a particular kind of girl, mixed race or not, or, you know, light-skinned, mixed race, education, no higher level education. That was a fact. That's just the way it was. Those are the girls who did Miss Kenya, in quote. Those were the girls. Yeah. That was the block. So we want to change the paradigm. They didn't use paradigm. I'm putting the words in your mind. And so they said, you know, we really want you to try for this. No, we're going to support you. So I'm like, but what's in it for me? You know, me, I'm ruthless business person. What's in it for me? I mean, you know, why, you know, I don't want the attention. I don't necessarily want. They said, no. So will I make money? And then they said, yeah, well, you see. So I said, so what is in it? Take me through what is involved in this
Make
thing.
me understand logically.
Make me understand my famous words. And they said, no, you know, you're going to travel. I said, where? Remember, travel's my dream. This girl used to lie on the grass saying, you're going to travel and see all these places. They said, yeah, okay, it's going to be in London. Oh, really? Okay, and then we're going to go to Macau. Where is that? Where's Macau? I mean, where is Macau? I mean, pull out a map. There was no Google. Where is Macau? I want to know where Macau is. Somewhere off. And then in Hong Kong. Oh my goodness. By that, I didn't care about anything else. I said, I'm in.
Sign me up.
But then I asked one question. I said, but will anybody know? Will anybody know? This is the stupidity of youth and naivety. I said, no, not really. I'm like, so they asked me, how many Miss Kenyas do you know? I said, oh, I've heard of Khadija. She said, yeah, maybe Khadija one, but how many others? There have been many. I'm like, okay. Yeah, not many, you know. Yeah, nobody will know. I said, okay, cool, we'll do it. I go, I do it with front page of the newspaper, Sunday Nation. Hey, Sunday Nation, front page. I cried the whole day. I cried the whole day. I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to live this down? How am I going to live this down? Yet other people were happy. Others at that time were like, my parents were very happy. They were very proud. They didn't mind. My mother even came for the show, by the way. She came to Visions, my mother, with my auntie. They were sitting there. So I'm like, how am I going to live this down? Then that's when all the things start coming in, because remember in those days, today to be any of these things, my daughter herself for years used to tell me, Mom, how come you've not helped me become Miss Kenya? How come? I'm like, are you mad? It is a completely different thing. If you look at social media, these are the things people look up to. Those days it was, and you're in college, University of Nairobi, the bastion of conservatism and everything else. Oh my gosh!
I can't believe you try and downplay this story like just another.
No, it was also anyway. I'll tell you. Oh my gosh!
Just one or two questions about this era.
Yeah.
First and foremost, congrats. That's amazing.
How is it amazing? Anyway, it helped me.
No, it's good to do co-curricular activities while you're in university. First and foremost.
Yeah.
2, congrats because you're on your goal to get independent.
Yes. And by the way, that's what I said. I asked them.
Yeah.
I did this thing.
You said, yeah. But here's a question. I know. I just want to understand. So I don't just want to. You did this thing like you've never walked down an aisle. You've never catwalked or like what is it like? I don't know. Stella Bogonko was Miss Tourism or one of the things.
Yeah.
You were Miss Kenya.
Yes.
Hey, come on. That's
1986. Yes,
wow.
I was.
So what was the process like going through? And then like
also, so it was
and are you telling
honestly
your
and
friends?
truly, yeah, of course they knew. Everybody knew.
Okay.
It was that. Everybody in campuses. That's what they still call me.
Before you won.
No, they knew I was going to do this thing. I went for it and whatever. And then I think for me, first of all, the travel was a misnomer.
Before the travel, the process of the show, the process of doing the competition. I want to understand what stages do you go through for you to win?
There was no stages. It was only one show. We went, I can't even remember. I blanked it out.
Oh, yes. It sounds like
I just remember somewhere we went, we did, we had Visions, you walked once, you answered a few questions, you talked, everybody cheered, they did whatever, and the other girls, and then you walked up and down, I did that, and then they sat down, the judges sat down and said, okay, first runner-up, second runner-up, winner. I'm like, what the?
No, but
but it was, okay, so it happened, I'm like, okay, great.
Are you dated at this time, by the way?
No.
Boys?
No. I don't know boys. Me, boys, I don't talk about. This is very traumatic. My university days were very traumatic when it comes to boys. I don't even, when I said about that, not a blanking out phase.
Photographic memory now.
The photographic memory is there. It's as clear as day, but I blank it out. When you sit down, when you see a picture and you pull a screen. You see a picture and you pull a screen. No. But it was difficult because now you're brandished a lot of things because people they determine that you must be this kind of a person. I don't know what that kind is, but that kind.
Okay.
That kind. That's what happens. I mean, there was
and you weren't famous before this.
There was a university lecturer who even tried to fail me.
Wow.
And the person who saved me, till today, he laughs about it, was a dean of commerce. He was our neighbor, family friend, and Professor Kimura was brilliant. He just says, I said, I protected you right through those years because of victimization.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, because you see, because people assume
you're dumb.
You're idiot, you're dumb, why would you do this? But also there's lecturers who decide you must be loose, you must be attached to have done this. So do we, and then they decide you just think you're very proud. I was called proud, actually. Half the time, I was just some proud, snotty person, that type of thing, which also you become victimized and vilified for.
Was that sexual harassment?
I mean, sexual harassment, you know me. Can you harass me? Just look at this person. Try. You know, my friends used to hold me back. Yeah, I used to slap guys. When I look back at myself, I saw mad. One time we nearly got beaten in the street. You know, you're walking, a guy slaps my butt. I turn around, I slapped him. The guy was coming to beat us. Like, Patricia, you've got to stop doing this. I said, it's reflex. I'm sorry.
That's a good reflex.
It is reflex. Yeah. I'm sorry. You don't touch me if I don't want you to touch me.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
You see a guy saying it, you want to kiss him, oh, pop! Who asked you? Who told you I wanted to be kissed? I was so stupid. Honestly, I reflected. I say, and I taught that, and I've taught my girls the same thing. They laugh and they sit down and say, yeah, mom, you know, you travel with us. By the time you allowed us to go downstairs when you're upstairs, I said, yeah, once I've shown you the values. If anybody does this, you punch them, you tell them, you know, nobody should do anything to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so harassment for me, yes, it was there, but maybe it was there, but I sit down. I know one particular lecturer, the one who failed or tried to fail, and then the dean had to intervene, whatever. Idiot of a guy, you know. And I sat down and I was like, okay, I think it doesn't help the way I also look at you. I think he must have felt that you failed. Yeah, but yeah, those kind of victimizations happen.
Wow.
But I think even the toughest thing, that's why I sit down and say in life, there are people who come and root for you, right? And I sit down and say some of my best friends who, when I look at college, who I worked with, you know, very powerful people. I had an incredible class. You know, our BCom class had
Was Caroline talking in your class?
No.
She wasn't?
No.
Okay.
Caroline didn't do BCom, did she?
No. Was she in your year?
No. She's much younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Caroline wasn't in me. So some of the best people who I'd hang out with, Aiden Mohammed, for example.
Whoa.
Till now, you know,
Okay.
Aiden, I could call on him, you know, he was my classmate. When you look at Julius Kipmetich, Dr. Julius, those
Amazing
are my
human.
classmates. You know, when I look at, we had an incredible Jeremy Goods, who are still friends till today. Our class was, I won't lie, we were quite a powerhouse.
Okay,
of
let me
a
ask you
commerce
this.
class.
Like, you know, you've mentioned people who actually went. I bumped into Julius.
I was with him actually
a couple of days.
Yes.
Ago.
Yeah.
And again, because I'm doing a leadership series, those are kind of people who I'm trying to get to come and sit.
Oh, Julius is brilliant.
To share their stories so that people. But my question coming to you is, what is it about that class of people that you had that has brought about such a rich breed of leaders that we are not churning out these days?
I think because we all worked. We all knew what we're there for. We all worked. When I think about all the people, and somehow I remember more the men than the women. We're very few women in our class, by the way. It's not that we still have a group, but we were very few women. It's just that we did this stuff. You know, it's not like these days where people cheat, where they do all sorts of things and everything else. And then because somehow we retain the circle, we in a way still can, we know at the back of our heads we can root for each other. Yeah, if you can call on somebody who's a classmate. And we have a fantastic
alumni group.
Yeah, you can call on each other and you know, so that really helped.
Okay, granted, yes, there were opportunities.
Yeah.
There were more opportunities just because of demand and supply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I was recruited at the university.
What?
For Unilever as a management trainee. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you guys the story is heavy.
Yeah, that's why I was recruited. They came to the university. They'd go to the dean and ask, give us your top students who you recommend, who you interview. The dean gives a list of people who you go and you're interviewed. You start the first lot, they come. They interviewed us at the university.
Yeah, but you see, for you to be interviewed, there's a lot of things that you're saying that I'm just like, you're ticking the boxes. I'm coming to Unilever.
Yeah.
Do you go to London?
I did after working. After I'd worked.
No, because of Miss Kenya.
Miss Kenya, I did first year. I went to London, went to the House of Commons. I can show you those pictures. I can show you those pictures. You know, with those all those dodgy old ministers. Like, tell us. You know, they're looking at you and they're eyeing you, and you're like, "Hey, this is sexual." Today, I'd say it's sexual harassment. You know, you're trying to sit like this. That you're Kitenge because you want to be the African queen, and these characters are there. And you're having peas and lamb.
Had you got to?
Yes, I'd flown, but I'd been to Israel. I'd never been to London.
Okay, had you
You
been
know
to
those
Europe?
days, Kenya, we didn't need visas, anywhere. You know, Kenya was a different country, but I'd never been.
Wow.
It was my first time there. Went to Macau, incredible island. Never been back there again. Macau is off China coast,
Yes.
which is a gambling. That's where we
was going
did
to be
all
like, where's that map?
we did all the swimsuits,
Yeah.
shots and everything else.
Yeah.
Then went to Hong Kong. We were on a TV show. I mean, now I look back, I'm like, do you know who was my roommate?
Who?
In Miss Kenya? Halle Berry.
Ah, come on. Like, what the heck? Like,
I always show my girls, look at this book that I've signed, that you know, the card when we left, and they say, oh, Mom, Ali. You know, I say, yeah. I mean, you know. I tried to message her on Instagram, but she ignored me. I said, it's
Halle
fine.
Berry, if you want
It's
to come
fine.
to here, we
It's
have it.
fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
No way.
Yeah.
That time she was Miss...
Miss America.
Yeah.
She was Miss America.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you are running away from this Miss Kenya story, but you're doing some life-changing, pivotal life things.
Yeah.
And when you come back, okay, how do you do? Because the reason why you were meeting as Miss Universe,
Yeah. Miss World.
Miss World, sorry,
yeah.
Miss World was now to crown the Miss World.
Yes,
because you were Miss.
World. Oh yeah,
Kenya.
Miss World was. She was Miss Iceland, I think, is only
Okay.
one in our year.
How did you do?
How could I do? Come on, I was
you didn't-
black.
you
I'm
didn't-
African.
you
When
didn't tick the boxes?
even when's the first time
This
a
one
black
did
girl won?
Alec Weck, or what is it?
No, but when's the first time an African woman won? You guys, it's just the other day.
Yeah, the other day.
Yeah, it's just a few. There's no way. Blonde.
Yeah.
You either had to be South American, yeah,
White.
or white, blonde, blue eyes, those types.
You did?
Yeah, but there's no chance. Come
Okay.
on. But anyway, I hated it. Honestly, the
You hated the
experience,
experience?
I hated it. Oh my God, that parading, walking up and down, I hated it to bits.
Yeah.
Because for me, if there's something
Idolization.
I'll tell you, independence for me is also being free to do what you want. People think it's fun. You know, you're locked up half the time. You are controlled. You go here. Here I am thinking I'm traveling to these places. I'm going to see things. You didn't see Jack. You went where they wanted to. You're in a bus. You're bussed here. You're bussed there. First of all, don't ever take me on a holiday where there's a bus and you come out in. Those are the sorts of things I will not do. That's not a holiday for me at all. Freedom. Remember I told you? Yeah, I have to have the ability to change my mind. I'm spontaneous, whatever. But to go and sit somewhere where you're in a room, our floors had security.
Yeah.
So you couldn't. And in my year, actually, it was even more complex because we had Miss Israel, Miss Lebanon, right?
Oh,
And those countries were at war.
yes.
So it was a nightmare. So they had to be on different floors. That was being managed. I look back now, I'm like, oh my goodness, this was a nightmare. Then you
Yeah.
go for meals, you're bus there, you go there. Whatever you're doing was controlled. It's not like you are
Yep.
going to live it up
Yep,
and
yep,
you're out,
yep, yep.
going out in the town. No, you could not just go where you wanted. You just couldn't do it.
So, but then when you come back, you see, in this place you are unknown, no one, you're locked in this life. But here you're on.
Yeah, I tried to forget it. I tried to hide it. Oh my gosh, when I came back, I didn't
adverts,
want anybody.
endorsements, but then you see it's part of that whole
But
thing.
that is where the moment came in.
Okay.
I realized the businesswoman in me kicked in. I said, okay, if I'm going to pick up flack out of this, I'm going to make money. Actually, I was a very wealthy girl by the time I was in college. Listen, I bought my first car, which all my
What?
friends used to use. So I had a car on campus. Everybody else is borrowing, doing whatever. Independence. I told you the story
not
of
your
independence.
parents who bought you the car?
No. I bought my mini Clubman myself, right?
Wow. So
Yeah.
what deals did you get?
KQ 151. No, 151 was the second one. KQ, oh gosh, I want a
Actually,
mini.
was there?
Blue.
Was
The
there?
blue little Clubman.
Wait. Was there? The guys who give these jobs to Miss World and
Yes.
Miss Universe
Yes.
is agency.
Yes.
Was there agency at the time?
No, there was an agent, but he was a hustler agent. But,
Not agent. Where do you work now? You work your.
So let me give you the story. So
Yes.
I came back. Actually, part of the money I made, full circle, life,
That's what I'm trying to ask.
is the agency I'm running today. They gave me the most. All
No
the
way.
contracts that I do now. Yes. So I did the Lux commercial. I did another one for a lotion called, what was it called? Young and Lovely or something like that. So that's why I made the money. I mean, young and lovely. I'm talking about 30 years ago, being paid 250,000 for 1 year. So when I look at it now, I realize it was a lot of money. Because when I first started my first job, my payslip was 11,000 shillings, right? So I sit down and I say that the business person me sit down and say, you get lemons, make lemonade, and that's what I did. So you're giving me flack, but I'm busy, and I modeled a lot. That's the only time I modeled while I was in college. So I used to model a lot for Little Red. I'd model a lot for the biggest brands I did was Little Red. Who else did I work for? And African Heritage. Remember African Heritage? So if you go to African Heritage, you see a lot of the old photos of me.
Dongo here.
Yes. So African Heritage for Alan Donovan.
Yes.
Used to do all the African whatevers. So those are the two big things I used to model for. So I was never broke. Never ever broke.
You were.
And I listen now to my daughter modeling sometimes, and people telling her they're paying. Oh, in Kenya, people want to pay you 8,000 or something to do a modeling. I said, McKenna, I was getting paid 2,000 35 years ago, whatever. How could it be 8? I mean, how could it be, Things haven't moved on here. So wow. Alan Donovan, in fact, I keep saying I have to go back to the house. I got some of the photos, but I need to go and just get a few more of the photos from that time. And then Little Red, a lot of the stuff for Little Red.
So you're working?
Yes, I worked.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in school, but you're working. And even here, you see, your whole story, there's one thing that you sound like, and I'm glad that I didn't, you sound like there's a group of people here and you're here.
Yeah, I always was like that.
You're always sounding like you're here, and not even in terms of alone. It's just that you're thinking, you're acting. There's something
I don't
different.
see it, by the way.
There's something
it's funny
different.
how you don't think about it. Now when you call it out, I realize my brain has always, that thing called independence has always driven me. Independence, resilience. It's funny how a particular desire you have drives everything you do. So you'll accept it if it's going to be the end to the mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the means to the end.
Yes.
The means to the end. Yeah, the end for me was always to be independent. Right?
But you're achieving it already in.
So I had my car. I could drive around. I could go. They'd borrow it. So I didn't have to depend on people. In fact, till today, I'm glad there's Ubers and stuff like that, because I'd sit down and say, going in a car with a guy and then he leaves you somewhere. And then, you're like, I want to go, and somebody's not bringing you back. I said, hell no.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are some of the things. Yeah.
And then now, okay, let's do a quick break. When we come back now, we hear, I don't want to call it your first job, because this whole time that you worked and earned money, even though you've blocked it out, it was, wait, before I transition, what were you doing with the money? Did you invest? Did you save? I
saved. I used to save.
So
I was saving it, but my mother used it. Every now and then she would come and say, oh, Patty, I have a bit of this problem. Maybe just give me that book. So she'd come and those withdrawal slips. Yes. So I'd sign a withdrawal slip with the amount. She said, no, just sign a few more so that I don't keep disturbing you. And so the story went.
My God, you are doing so well.
Yeah, and so the story went. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
We're taking a quick break. We're coming back. Oh, what?
So I meet this lady who became like my mentor in campus, and she was just like a mother, just overly concerned about me. And I'll mention something that she taught me or trained me at that point. And so she asked me, what project do you want to do as Miss KU? And I came up with this idea of, I wanted to go help girls in Samburu, to go to school instead of getting married early and all that. And I remember she calmly told me, sweetie, that's a really nice idea. It's brilliant. I mean, it's commendable. It's noble. Then she said, but it's not doable. You have to be able to have something. Think about it. When will you be in class and when will you be in Samburu? How will you be able to do that? And she was trying, at that point, she taught me a valuable lesson of, you started this thing by asking God. Why don't you ask him what he wants you to do, rather than just picking up an idea of something that you want to do? So that reminder, again, like I said, surrounding yourself with people who you would know this. It's people who you have told, God told me. And then they say, okay, so the one who told you, make sure that you're building on that rather than taking away from it because of introducing flesh or introducing your own concept of what this thing is about. And that's what Esther's mistake was. Because the minute she got into that position, she forgot. She probably now started getting used to the perfumes and the treatments of being queen, and forgot the reason why, until Mordecai, someone that God used, came to her and triggered her to remember, by the way, God is the one who put you here, and the reason he put you here those many years ago has come. And so you have to awake to the reason why he brought you, and then get with the program as opposed to being consumed by your own process and comfort.
So do you figure out what it is? So does that send you back to God to then be like?
It did.
You know what I love about your life, and I just like I'm loving it. Your story should be every human being's norm story.
Yeah.
Those who subscribe to the faith.
Yeah.
Whatever God you subscribe to, you should be constantly going back to him to give you the instructions, and if he is truly God, he will speak to you because he loves you.
Yeah.
So you went back to God for God to be like, okay, God, what happens? Why did you make me Miss Tourism? I mean, Miss
KU at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I go to God and he points me to the story of Esther in relation to the nation. Remember, he had begun to build this desire, this fire in me about the nation. So I remember at that point, God puts it in my heart to do a 21-day prayer for the nation on radio. Now, first of all, okay, of course I was involved in, the industry in a way. I got to know you guys and a few other artists and all that. But I was like, this is not me. And this is now towards, I had sort of like walked with God for a while. And this is now towards now.
Your end of KU.
The end of KU and all that. So at that point, I'm thinking about that picture of praying for the nation. And then he introduces the Miss Tourism, or Miss Kenya at the time. So I've just finished one pageant. It's been a year later and I've worked with him and all that. Then I'm introduced to this Miss Kenya thing and I'm like, okay, this is a larger platform. And again, God uses someone to actually push me into that pageant. And I knew that it was him now because I had built a pattern of checking with him. Now, Miss Kenya was a bigger platform. It was a different ball game altogether. And I knew that there's something that he was fine-tuning in me in terms of my work with him. Now, this is campus. You become like a celebrity in campus, but then now you're being thrust into the limelight in terms of the national stage. And at this point, I go through the process again. By this time, of course, church had warmed up to the idea of me modeling. I had done a few endorsements here and there, adverts and all that stuff.
Like for who had you done adverts for?
Well, I was a good girl, so hot chocolate, things that are normal, like outfits, just different things at the time.
But why I'm asking that is because now you start making money.
Yes, okay, there were offers for me to do certain kinds of endorsements, but like I said, because of the practice of checking with God, even the thing that was obvious, he would say no. So I would let go of it without understanding why he would say no. So again, because of that practice, especially now, after I became Miss Tourism, which was the same pageant as Miss Kenya, but I got to number 2, and I'll speak about that in a moment. It was a beautiful learning experience because you're getting attention, but at the same time, there's another restriction on you, and the restriction is God. The same person who told you get into this thing is the one telling you, okay, this one you'll go further, but this one you won't get involved in, etc. So again, building my walk with God.
So this is when you're Miss KU. Of course, now you start getting opportunities for endorsements, this, that, the other.
So Miss KU was 2005. And then now, towards the end of 2006 into 2007 is when now I did the Miss Kenya, because it's a long process. You go through trainings and all that stuff. And then at the mid of 2007 is when now I became Miss Tourism.
Okay, let's then talk about this season. In terms of just the pageant, because now you're saying you're being thrust from community level being KU into a national level being competing against other people in Kenya.
So that was exciting for me, again, like because I had the practice of working with God, ideas of the outfits, ideas of who to collaborate with and all that stuff. So I remember I was so sure I was going to be Miss Kenya, so sure. like it was such a close tie. The thing that I knew like separated me from the person who won was the answer that I gave. Like I was the second last person to answer, she was the last person to answer. So the answer that I gave was what I had already like meditated on, I had seen in my mind to answer. But the minute she came, she talked it up and just like said something so beautifully with me. I was like, drat, I should have thought of that, you know? And when now it was announced, because of, remember I had now become so consumed by this process. For some reason, I really wanted to win. When I became number 2, it was such a heartbreak for me. It actually destabilized me for a while, almost like I didn't know, because I knew it was a God process. You know the way you start assuming things, like when Moses was sent into Egypt to go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. But you go there with the mentality of, I'll go say he will release us. And God tells you, not yet. So he goes in and Pharaoh actually, God literally hardens his heart, and he has to go through another longer process of knowing God. But it was to build him in a way that we get to now read later, that Moses knew his ways, but the children just knew the acts of God. But it was because of that process of walking with God, and not just the magic of, I say it happens exactly as he said. So my process of the whole Miss Kenya experience sort of like threw me back to, okay, how did I not get it? Because for some reason it became the thing that I wanted in my mind. Again, perhaps God saw, your heart has gone another direction. This is not the plan. Whatever the reason is, and I know the reason now, and I'll say it much later, but it was a beautiful, I had experience at the time, but now looking back, I'm like, God actually restrained me from something getting to my head, for me thinking that now I have attained to a certain level. But there, I was honestly disappointed when I didn't get it. Yeah.
So what happens now? Because now number 2 was going to be named Miss Tourism. Was it like that, or was that a position that was created just because they're like, no, we need to give this number 2 something?
No, you remember this is 2007 into 2008. So there was because of the post-selection balance, some pageants hadn't happened, so they combined all of them. And now they were under one franchise. So in that year, they combined all of them. They actually combined 3 pageants. So number 3 became Miss Commonwealth or something like that. So I became number 2, and that's how I got Miss Tourism.
So I've got now some real questions. Does that, unfortunately, the placement of Miss Kenya, Miss Tourism, Miss Commonwealth has a sex symbol attachment to it from the public perception. Do you get what I mean? Which is wrong. But does that now thrust a certain kind of phone calls? I remember when I interviewed Boniface Mwangi, he said as soon as he put people on the Pulse cover girls, MPs, MCAs, everybody is calling and asking for that girl's number. This is national level you're being thrust to as a beautiful woman. Even it can be as a beautiful woman who is of God, and it's now a nice guy deciding that's my wife. Run after, get after. What happens now with that? Or does that happen?
It happened a lot. And like I said, if I wasn't prepared, first of all, if it was my first pageant, I'd be like in, you know, another world altogether. And then secondly, if I hadn't been grounded, because by this time you can tell that I had had such a deep walk with God, and the constant reminder, this has nothing to do with you. And I think for me, getting number 2 was also a reminder of
a reality check.
Take a step back and figure out what God is actually doing with you. It has nothing to do with all these things that you think it has. It's about in terms of the pageant and all that. There's something that God is doing, and it's a journey. It's not a destination. So it did actually refresh my mind to remember what's important. And at the same time, there was something else that was happening with me, because I had just now finished campus. And there was another whole story that was going on with me at the time, because I had, maybe I can go into it right now.
Can go into it.
So,
and then you answer the question of what do you do to block. I'm just thinking of somebody.
What do I do to block?
Oh, no, somebody who may be in your situation.
Yeah.
Like now you're phone call. Hi, am I speaking to Stella? Oh, I just want to come and pick you up and take you to Dubai for shopping. With the world that we live in right now, you're laughing, but
my sister is laughing.
It's crazy. That's the world that we live in right now. Put a few Instagram photos up. Suddenly, a man with money picks up the phone, calls you. Yours was. How did you maintain this soberness, or did you maintain it? And if you fail, how did you get back up?
Yeah. So let me answer by addressing it and joining it with what you just said about social media as well. There's a way a combination of my walk with God, a combination of my parents, and a combination of a real experience with God revealed to me that what you place value on is either something that is passing with time or something that will remain. So for example, like I said, you cannot be tempted of what you desire outside of what you already desire. So guarding your desires is actually very important. Now, at the time, I didn't know this, of course, extent of this wisdom of being able to choose what you allow in your life, etc. But the pressure for me, one of the things that helped me was the pressure from church, because I was already put on a pedestal. I was already, like, there was, like I said, the 5 of us at the time, the ones who used to sing together, there was pressure for us to sort of like create the model that other people would follow. So you wouldn't, the things that you would deliberately cut off because here, you'll be killed in church, you'll be killed at home, you'll be killed by the pastors who support you, so you just choose an easier pathway because of that. But the second thing I would like to say is that for me, I feel like God fungan my eyes from seeing certain things or from experiencing. And then the value that you place on yourself also determines what you allow. For example, if a guy comes up to you, and this is now for the younger girls, if a guy comes up to you, he's already judged you and graded you.
Yes.
The way on Twitter they say she's a 10, but there's always that scale that they've put on you. Now, you're the one to confirm what they're thinking of you by responding how they expect you to respond, or you raise your game to the point that the scale doesn't matter, as in I can't fit into your scale because I'm above that. So the value you hold of yourself actually determines how people respond to you. Even if they come to you with a wrong perception, the immediate response you give already determines the direction of that thing, whether it will go on or not go on. So there are many tricks of how to go about it. And then I think in our day, for right now rather, I think this generation is dealing with a lot more things, especially because of social media. And for me, luckily, I didn't place that. In fact, I only came back to social media recently because of my another process with God, which we'll get to. But I've never been one to, like I said, wait for people to validate me. In terms, especially my peers or what people consider to be important. Because the minute you do that, they will clap you into a position and they will tear you down the next minute. So I would say deflate that whole thing of whatever the man or the guy has placed as a value on you. You determine your value and then work for yourself. Determine your own value by having your own stuff or building your own value as opposed to waiting for someone else to build it. Because the reason why he's taking you to Dubai, for example, is because he thinks that that's what your price is.
Yeah. But on the other hand, and I know it sounds like trivial stuff that I'm dwelling on, but I'm just thinking of people in that situation. And it's not every day we get somebody like you on this seat who has experienced and has wisdom and has come out on the other side better. Another element that's unfortunately being thrust into the limelight, let's even remove the beauty perspective out. I'm talking about now proper guys who love God, who are coming and being like, I've decided on this one. She's the one. She's throwing all the characters of a woman that I would want, which is attractive to any man in terms of the values and the way you'd carry yourself. So now people, even they're not trying to they are genuinely nice guys trying to just to get you. I'm going to say acquire.
Acquire.
Right.
Property.
Wrong word. Forgive me, ladies. You get? Are you understanding?
Okay, so I guess what you're asking is how did I handle guys who are genuinely interested in me, and even if, let's say, for example, they were in the setting of church or whatever it is, right? Do you remember the time when I told you that I invested quite a bit of time in prayer?
Yeah.
When I was not ready for marriage, for example, but I invested quite a bit of time in prayer because I knew that this is a make or break for me. And I had a lot of what I like to call close calls, like guys who you're sure for sure, this guy I'm really into. But the trick that I used to use, even with my girlfriends, I'd call them like, Ebukam, there's a guy who I'm completely confused because of him.
That's great. Okay, you're not a robot. Thank God. I mean, that's
I'd just be completely gone, not able to think, function, etc. But the thing that I used to do is, regardless of that, I would go and cry before God and say how, in fact, I would use that scripture of the heart is desperately wicked above all things. Because I knew that it's very easy to love something, to desire something and it not be God. And you even start hearing voices telling you that that is God.
Okay.
So the reason I'd bring someone else is because I'd tell them the truth. You know, I'd tell them the truth of this is why I like the guy, this is my situation, but please, you know me, pray with me. And there are many times, and this is what I was saying at the beginning, we think that God is disinterested in us or disinterested in our success or in our fruitfulness, but in actual sense, he's not. He is more invested and interested than we are. So the moment I'd pray, like I remember this one, not once, not twice, but let me use this particular example, a guy that I was really into. And I remember I knew that this one, if God does not intervene, but it's a done deal, it's sealed forever.
Was it a mutual? Was it mutual? Was
Oh,
he
yeah.
also? Oh.
I mean, what do you expect? And that made it harder because it's easier to like a guy who didn't like you and you're like, maybe I had God wrong, but this is now, more complicated. So